Welcome to our latest episode of The Ultra Way. Today is going to take a little bit of a different format in interview style as we sit down with two of the Ultra Group leaders so that we can discuss some of the current issues facing the building industry at the moment, not just now, but over the last couple of years. So today we're going to sit and talk to Jarod Horgan, our General Manager, as well as Peter Nastrom, our Managing Director. Well, we might just jump straight into it. For those that aren't over the current issues facing the building industry at the moment, how would you say things have changed over the last couple of years?
Well, I think if I speak to that initially, so it's an amazing view at how the industry's changed over the last 2 years. Like if you rewind 2 years ago, we were in the middle of a lockdown where all of our display homes were forced to be closed, open by appointment only. We were sort of having business discussions about, okay, well, how long is this going to go for? Like, how do we sort of obviously manage our cash flow and finances and whatnot, because we had a lot of clients pulling the pin on projects. But then within a few months, the federal government released the home builder grant, and that just turned the entire industry on its head. And we went from famine to feast in a way. And from that period onwards, we've just experienced incredible growth. Not just Ultra, but every builder in Australia just had so many clients obviously coming forward wanting to build homes to take advantage of the incentives the federal government's putting out.
Well, they definitely summed it up as the perfect storm. So, you know, obviously the industry went from sort of zero to hero within a matter of months. So we've had to sort of roll with that, you know, collectively, and obviously nurture our staff, our trades, our suppliers through the entire, I suppose, roller coaster as I see it. So.
And would you say that the influx of work as a result of the government grant was the reasoning behind the trade shortages and the supply issues and price increasing?
Oh, 100%. I think Queensland's always had a trade shortage. You know, when the industry's booming Australia-wide, they tend to gravitate to New South Wales, they'll gravitate to Victoria because they get paid extremely well in those states. We in Queensland have always struggled with a trade base. So once we got hit with this, yeah, there was always going to be collateral damage, and that was trade shortages, definitely.
From a material point of view, every Western nation during the initial phases of COVID started to stimulate their economy, and normally they did that through construction and infrastructure, so bringing forward long-term projects to now, so they could obviously keep their employment levels really low from an unemployment level. But the whip effect on that was that, you know, the USA, India, China, all of their economies were booming and obviously needing raw product and materials at the same time as ours was as well. So unfortunately for Australia, we're sort of so far away from the rest of the globe in terms of getting that excess product we needed. We were competing with these other Western nations as well. And that's probably been the main challenge that we've faced in the last 18 months, was that being able to buy the product for the price that we want to pay for it and get it when we want it. And both those two things we've been up against challenges the entire time.
Well, I think Australia hasn't been sustainable for long enough. We've relied on imports, especially raw material. Timber's been a massive import for us over a number of years. I think with the bushfires a few years back, you know, that really probably hindered our production of timber. So again, it's just been an flow-on effect. So.
So what would you say has been the direct impact as a result of the trade shortages, and probably hone in here on the price increases? How has that affected not just Ultra, but the building industry as a whole?
Well, supply and demand. So basically when you need materials, people are willing to pay for whatever they need to. And we have a genuine shortage here in Australia of material, and obviously now the labour component. So, you know, if you can't get materials, you're forever chasing your tail. And again, the trades are now seeing that as well. So they're sort of probably putting themselves out there as being the best of the best, and they want to be paid accordingly. So yeah, it's been a massive impact, as we see.
Yeah. So what would you say is one of the biggest challenges we're facing right now?
Building houses. Literally building houses. keeping to timeframes, we know businesses are heavily reliant on cash flow, and the impact of poor timeframes and not meeting timeframes basically reflects on your cash flow. So we as a group have been definitely, looking after our current trade base that we do have. We've got specific payment terms in place for those guys. We are constantly negotiating in favour of them to pay them the rates that we feel are fair in the current market, but obviously it tends to be a little bit more one-sided towards the trade. So for us, basically building houses is the biggest impact we have right now. Whereas a standard 200 square metre low set we were able to build in 16 weeks. We're now looking at around 26 to potentially even 30 weeks if we throw inclement weather in there as well. So you're basically almost doubling, you're at least doubling your timeframes when it comes to building houses right now.
I'd probably say that 2021, the theme was the material delays. So obviously a shortage of materials and having to wait at extended periods of time for that product. I'd say 2022 right now, the main impact that we're facing is trade availability. So even if we're prepared to pay the highest price for a certain trade, just being able to get them when we need them is our real issue at the moment. So unfortunately, what that means is it has a flow-on effect where we can't deliver the homes that we promised clients within the period of time that we promised them. Now, we sort of anticipated this being a problem mid last year, so we started adding extended build times to our contracts to mitigate this and help calibrate our clients' expectations around how long it's going to take to get from signing a contract through to handing over of keys. But we're sort of working at this very tail end right now where we're finishing homes that we signed up probably early last year that unfortunately we've gone over our contract timeframes, not through any fault of our own, not through any fault of our team, but just because of the external factors that we're up against.
I think a prime example there was frame and truss supply peak. We were basically, we could order a set of frame and trusses, we'd have it on site in 2 weeks. So that was 18 months ago. We're now booking spots for August 2022, which is sort of 5 to 6 months down the track. So that has an immediate impact in your timeframes when you come to building, because clients think that once we're out of council, we're going to start building their houses and we're going to meet the current timeframes. But a lot of the times we're not getting the frame and truss for 4 or 5 months down the track, even though we can proceed to putting a slab down. But then the job basically stops from there on in. And we can't control those circumstances right now.
So in terms of what Ultra is able to deliver to clients, if we look back to the recent floods we've had and the understanding that there's a lot of works to come out of that's going to have a high demand for trades, do you feel that that's going to impact Ultra specifically and our ability to deliver to clients?
I think, generally we will see some sort of impact. It's whether we can retain the current trade base we've got, which I'm feeling very, very confident that we will. Again, these trades are not guys that we've just picked up in the past 6 or 12 months or even 2 years. Some of these guys have worked alongside Pete and I for 10 plus years. So loyalty and respect will pay dividends in that regard. So look, I'm confident that if I'm talking 100% of our trade base, I can pretty much be assured that 75 to 80% of our trade base will stay with us. A few of them will get the carrot dangled, but I still feel that with what we're doing, what we're currently paying, the payment terms that we have in place, and just the idea that our jobs are organised, they know that they can come to our jobs and make money. Yeah. We've had this scenario, before this impact hit us. Obviously we had all the storm damage in Springfield Lake, so trying to get a roofer 2 years ago was nigh on impossible. So we've seen that play out, we've managed that, we've been able to come through the other side. So, we're just going to have to play what's in front of us when it comes to the whole storm rectification works. And it's not just going to be South East Queensland, it's going to be Northern New South Wales as well. So, but no, I'm feeling very confident in what we're able to achieve moving forward for our clients.
And with everything going on at the moment, if we look back, if we look to our clients, how do you feel that what's been going on in the last couple of years is affecting our clients and our ability to deliver to them, and the ability to still try and strive to be giving our clients a great experience?
Well, I think that we have a huge amount of empathy for our clients in the fact that they probably were expecting we could build a home and they'd move in 6 months. And we know that every week and every month that goes over, they're paying more mortgage repayments on the land and they're paying more rent. We totally get it. I guess equally, you know, we're very mindful that we don't make any money until the very end of the build. Like until we get that very final payment, we don't make any money from that customer. So we're just as incentivized and want to get these homes built as fast as possible. So like we've got so many sort of hard costs in terms of, you know, every week that a home site sits out there, we've got toilet hire and more risk of theft and damage. So we want to get these homes built as fast as possible, but we totally understand where our clients come from. And that's why we're just trying to, I guess, you know, trying to communicate as much as we possible if there's any delays or anything that happens during their build, to try and get them on the front foot so that they can help maybe recalibrate their expectations on us. Because we're at a sort of point where there's not much more we can do. We're so hamstrung by the environment right now that all we can do is just keep turning up and doing what we're doing and hopefully just get there in the end. So
yeah, okay. So to alleviate a lot of the issues that we, Ultra specifically, have been facing, what has the business done to stay the course, to overcome a lot of these challenges, and to, I guess, continue to find a way forward?
Regular communication with the clients, educating them on what we are currently dealing with. As much as it's been broadcasted through you know, nightly news and etc. and through the media, a lot of people are naive to it in some respects. But you know, the regular communication from us is a big thing. Secondly is the regular communication we have with our trades and suppliers. You know, we're constantly in communication with our main suppliers as to, you know, how they're finding the industry. Are there any foreseeable increases on the horizon? What challenges are they meeting? What can we do from a restructuring of our business or a process part of our business to make their deliveries easier or their pricing easier? So again, constant communication, questions asked to them as to what can we do to be better as well.
Yep.
I think from a physical construction point of view, we started last year making decisions to obviously try and steer away from having full brick veneer homes and going to lightweight cladding homes, just because we could see that there has been always and there's going to be a continued shortage of bricklayers, you know. Even regardless of what you're prepared to pay them, there's not enough bricklayers in all of Australia to brick up the amount of homes that are coming through.
It's a tough trade.
It's a tough trade, and I don't blame them. Not many people want to be bricklayers. It's a tough job to do. So we as a business made a decision mid last year to try and encourage as many homeowners as possible about the advantages of going to a lightweight cladded home, where we can probably build the home 60 days faster, it's more economical, and for us it just means that they'll be able to get into their home a lot sooner. So we're starting to see that whip around come through now. Particularly a lot of our larger acreage homes have gone to lightweight cladding homes, and they're going to reap those benefits. You know, the build will easily be 2 months quicker because we're not dependent on a bricklayer needing to arrive. So there's lots of, I guess, little things that we've done operationally to help navigate us through this phase. And I guess lastly is, I guess, trying to over communicate with our team so that we're all aware of the pain points each sort of department's sort of going through, whether it be sales through to maintenance and everything in between.
So is there any silver lining that's come out of any of this over the last couple of years? Anything you can sort of look back on?
I'd probably say one silver lining for me would be we're probably actually running a better business now than what we were a few years ago. I guess it takes a lot of adversity for you to really realise, I guess, that the real strength of your team members, and we've seen some amazing strength come out in all of our team in the last 2 years. And resilience. So let's face it, like it's not the most satisfying work environment out there. There's a lot of, I guess, you know, 9 out of 10 of our clients are amazing. They're very understanding of, I guess, the pressures we're facing, but there's probably 1 out of 10 that I guess still feel that we could be doing more. And when you're a team member that's just sort of showing up and, I guess, getting a level of abuse nearly on a daily basis, being accused that they should be doing more, it's hard to swallow. But I guess Jarod and I, and yourself, Megs, we're so grateful that the team keeps showing up and they keep wanting to do better and keep contributing more. So for me, probably the silver lining is that, hey, look, we've really reinforced who our team is. And I think that, yeah, we're actually operating a better business now. It takes you know, I realise, you know, we've had the building industry's had it so good for so many years in the sense of, you know, a fairly low cost environment. You know, your price increases you'd get on an annual basis would be so negligible. But now it's really forcing us to sort of think a lot more strategically about the type of builds we want to contract, you know, that the cost base we need to work on and all those sort of things. Methodology, making sure we've got the right internal skill set to take on a project and the right external skill set to get them built. So these are all things that, you know, up until 2 years ago, you didn't really have to think about. You could just sort of say, yeah, we'll build it, and it just would happen. Yeah. but now we're being a lot more conscious of just trying to, I guess, be as smart as we can to make sure that, you know, we come out at the other end of this, you know, in a much more stronger position so we can grow bigger as a brand and better as a brand.
I think myself personally, I've gone from being a very structured person, and I love autonomy and I love structure, and I get a bit frustrated when the structure gets taken away, but I've become to sort of learn to be a little bit more ad-lib and play what's in front of me and deal with what's in front of me on a daily basis, because the curveballs are coming from left and right. But you know, we as a business, we've got a really good support mechanism internally where you know, we can sort of look over to our colleagues and we can provide support to them and vice versa. So everybody's sort of running with it right now and creating a really positive and good environment all through adversity. But I've always said through adversity comes success, and I think moving forward we're going to take so much out of this as a group, and I still believe, you know, we're 100% going to be at forefront of the industry in, you know, 12 months, 2 years time.
So on that note, where do you see Ultra in the next, you know, 6, 12, 18 months? That we spend a lot of time in business in general, just, you know, planning ahead. I think we've had times over the last couple of years, we've sort of almost had to pause and just deal with things on a day-to-day basis. But in order to move forward, we have to keep looking ahead. So where do you see things for Ultra in the sort of, you know, short to mid-term?
Well, I think one thing that we've done and we've been very conscious of, and I feel that we've done it very well, and we've diversified. So we've gone from, you know, just being a sort of, I suppose, a boutique custom home builder to, you know, we're now diversified into other products. So we're doing some NDIS product now, which is, you know, boutique style builds. You know, we're into the terrace home developments now, which is going to be a major need for that in moving forward. So what 2 years of where we've come in 2 years to diversify the business the way we have, I think it's going to put us in a really positive stead moving forward. So.
Okay. All right. Well, if you've got any lasting comments, but otherwise I just sort of want to wrap things up and I guess take this opportunity. If there's something that you could say to both clients and our staff, who are a huge asset to ensuring, you know, our clients are still getting, you know, delivered on the promises we make, what would you say?
I'll probably start by obviously firstly saying a massive thank you to all of our clients that are choosing to build with Ultra at any stage, whether it's been in the past or the present. That's a massive leap of faith, and given there's so much competition out there, again, we all really deep down appreciate it. I guess I appreciate in advance, I guess, as much empathy you can show towards us in terms of helping us get through this process with you. We're definitely not perfect, but we certainly strive to be. And I know that, you know, we want to obviously make sure we're going to give you an amazing quality home at the end of the build. So that's first and foremost. And secondly, you know, we talk a lot about, I guess, our team and our culture and how important our people are to the brand, and how, you know, without the team we've got nothing, and that's so true. So I guess I just want to again say thank you to everybody that steps foot in this office or out in our utes or out on the side every day, whether they be our trades or our team. You know, without all of them, like, Ultra is just a logo on a billboard. So super grateful, and I know that, you know, we're only just getting started. There's so much promising things coming in the future, and I know that everyone that sticks by us in these hard times are going to have an amazing future when times get good again.
Yeah, definitely. All I can say is continue to be patient with us, support us, stay the journey with us. You know, we've got your best interests at heart from a client perspective. You know, we support all our clients, we support our trade base, we support our suppliers, and for me personally, the staff are something that's very I'm passionate about. My staff are the most amazing people in the world. For them to step foot in this door every morning and deal with what they deal with it, good, bad or ugly, they still keep showing up every day, and they've still got your back. And yeah, without them, we wouldn't have got through what we've got through in the past 2 years, because it has been a pretty volatile time through the industry. It's not, you know, it's been very well publicised. So yeah, a massive thank you to my staff, and yeah, it's exciting times ahead, I believe.
Well, thank you for your time, and certainly given some really great insight into, you know, what's going on. Again, not just for us, but for, you know, the construction industry in general. And obviously that, you know, we're here trying to do absolutely everything we can for our clients. You guys have mentioned, you know, our staff. Without our staff, the business doesn't operate and function as it does. So again, I hope that's, you know, insight for everybody, and, you know, onwards and upwards for Ultra.
I think if I can just one thing I can probably add, albeit this is probably the toughest time the industry's ever experienced here in Southeast Queensland. It has been through a roller coaster ride, you know, back through the 90s, early 2000s, and then to where we are today. So, as I said, albeit this is probably the toughest I've ever seen. We will get through it. The industry will recover, and we as people and businesses will be better for it.
Absolutely.